Hey guys, my name is Nicole Hemphill, and welcome to another episode of Silence in the Backcourt. Today I have a really great guest, Summer Simpson. Summer, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. Thank you for coming on today.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
Yes, I mean, Summer and I met through her older sister who I went to grad school with, and River's amazing. I love her very much, and so I was like, okay, I have to have her little sister on. Um, Division 1 softball player. Okay, go off. So where did you play?
So I played my 3 years. I'm graduating this fall, so I didn't play my senior year, but I played my 3 years at App State.
App State. Okay, what was your experience like playing college softball?
It was pretty crazy. I am very much a homebody, so Boone isn't too far. It's only like an hour and 20 minutes away from my house, so that was fine. The traveling aspect was very new to me. Being gone like almost every weekend, that was pretty challenging, but overall, like, I loved it, and I wouldn't trade that experience for anything, honestly. I thought it was super fun. I just think, like, looking back on it, it was some of the best moments of my life, and yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Oh, that's amazing. No, I'm gonna backtrack just a little bit. So, like, when did you start playing sports in general?
Okay, so really early. So, like we mentioned, my sister earlier, she always played softball growing up. My parents coached her team, so I was just like heavily involved with it my whole entire childhood. So I probably started playing softball whenever I was around 6 years old. But I was a gymnast before that, actually, around the same time, probably like 5 years old. But that was my main
Okay.
thing, and then kind of switched to softball.
Okay, what caused that switch? That's like a dramatic shift in
It is,
sport.
yeah. So I played a bunch of different sports whenever I was a kid, just for fun. But gymnastics was my main thing, and I just like was always doing cartwheels and flipping around the house. And so my parents were like, "All right, we need to get her into something." So started with gymnastics, and then just as things started progressing, I was also playing softball at the same time. And I would be at school all day and then travel 30 minutes to the gym. And I was there for practice for like 4 hours. And then I was supposed to be there Monday through Friday. And I was just like, it's too much, guys. Like, I'm 10 years old. I'm trying to have fun. So we called it quits.
Hey, that's fair. Hey, if I
Yeah.
had a gymnastics background while playing softball, I don't know if I made a hit, I'd do a flip or something. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know, you'd get sick of me really, really quickly. I
Yeah.
did you do something like that? Because I wouldn't be able to resist.
Um, Probably whenever I was a kid, I was always like flipping around. But if we would have like a sweep during college, I didn't as much this year, but last year, if we would sweep somebody, I would do a back tuck. Just to
Ew.
celebrate.
Okay, you have to send us a video of that so we can like
Okay.
embed it in the show. That'd be
Okay.
great. Oh my gosh, that's so cool. Oh, okay. So when did you know that you wanted to play sports in college or softball in college?
It was always just part of the plan, really. Just growing up, like my sister and all of her teammates, they're older than me, so obviously I looked up to them a lot. Um, and they all wanted to go play college softball, so I was like, okay, like I'm gonna do that too. Um, and then, I just started going to college camps super early, super young. I know my first camp was, I think, Tennessee, and I was like 8 years old, and it was just a blast. And so, yeah, it was just always kind of part of the plan. And then high school hit, and things got serious, and I really had decided, like, yeah, this is what I want to do. This is the direction that I want to go. So.
Okay, cool. And so what was your recruiting process like going to camps and stuff? And I'm not really familiar with like the softball
Yeah.
circuit kind of thing. So what was that like?
So as a kid, it was really just for some exposure, more so just for fun. Like, a lot of my teammates would go with me. And then as I started getting older, so the recruiting process changed. I think before I got into high school, you used to be able to be recruited as like an eighth grader,
Hmm.
which would have really hurt my recruitment process because I was like a super late bloomer. I was really small growing up. And then they changed that rule to September 1st of your junior year of high school. So I was like, thank goodness, like I'm not going to be looked over. Um, but yeah, I just like, I don't know, like going to camps, like I said earlier, it was just part of the process. It was just always part of the plan, really. As I got older, I would pick a few of my favorite schools. River went to Wilmington, so I was like, I want to go to some Wilmington camps. I was really gung ho on Wilmington, and App was another option too, and just started really hitting those heavy because those were just my number one choices. And yeah, just went from there, and my recruiting process just kind of took off because I went to like 5 Wilmington camps and probably close to 8 App State camps, just obviously because of the distance. But yeah, that's just where my love for App started, and just got noticed at the camp. So yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. And what part of the softball experience probably was like your favorite with your team, or like playing? Like what was like the defining thing for you, if you can look back on your college career?
College, for me, growing up, I was always like super energetic, super loud. My family will tell you that I'm a very loud person. And I just always loved to cheer. Like, cheering in the dugout is such a big thing in softball. Yeah. And whenever I got to college, like, so you hit that age, like middle school and like the beginning of high school, that cheering is kind of weird, and like, we don't do that, we're grown up. But I always loved to cheer. So you get to college and everyone just wants to cheer, and that was like so exciting for me. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I can't wait. It's not dorky anymore. Like, I'm not gonna get made fun of. But yeah, that, looking back, like all the cheers and all the laughs in the dugout, that was definitely my favorite part.
See, I remember playing softball in middle school, and I loved cheering in the dugout because you could like buck mess in your cheers too. Yeah. And it was so much fun. I think that a lot of camaraderie comes from being in the dugout. So that's, I can definitely see that. Oh, you're making me miss it. That's so, my niece is playing softball right now. And so I go out to a lot of her games, and they haven't discovered that cheering is fun yet. Oh, but like, if volleyball players cheer after every single point, there's no reason cheering should be viewed as dorky or not, or uncool. Like, that's fun.
It is so much fun.
Yeah. All right. Well, what are you doing now? Like you said, you're going to finish up in the fall.
Yes.
Right. Okay. And so what's your plan post college? What's going to be post athletics going to look like for you?
So right now I'm a criminal justice major. So I'm doing my summer internship because like it's like our capstone basically. So it's 12 credit hours worth of classes. So it's required to graduate. So that's what I'm doing this summer. And then I'll finish up my remaining like 6 hours in the fall. And then, so really the direction that I want to take this, I'm super interested in like the investigative and analytical side of criminal justice. I think that's super cool. But to go to like work your way up to that, it's usually a sworn position. So like I have to have some law enforcement experience. So I'll probably go to basic law enforcement training in the spring, and then who knows where that'll take me. And then I would love to work my way up to like State Bureau of Investigation, or like be on like the cybersecurity financial crimes type of wavelength. So
yeah, originally I was thinking, okay, Law and Order, but okay, criminal minds. Okay, cool. I'm going to be going to law school here. I start in August, so I understand the criminal justice side of it. Like that's really cool. I admire that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So how do you feel that playing college sports has prepared you for a life outside of sports? Like any characteristics that you've learned?
Yeah, so my dad is career law enforcement, and just hearing his stories coming home of like all the crazy things that you experience in this field, and even right now in my internship, like being exposed to some of those aspects of like the people that you have to deal with. And a lot of it is like based off of what I've seen and what I've heard. You have to have like a very neutral mindset. Like you can't let your emotions get the best of you. And I think I was just writing like a report log I have to do a weekly report for my internship. And I was just writing about it, how like you can't let your emotions get the best of you. And my experience in a college sport has really prepared me for that, honestly. Like, being able to not make the moment too big is something that we always talked about at App, and like just staying within ourselves. I think that's really going to prepare me for this line of work, because like you do have to deal with crazy things out in the world. So
Yeah.
I think just not like, I don't know, being able to stay within ourselves and like not getting overwhelmed. Like, I feel like that's going to help me a lot.
Yeah, you got the ice in your veins now. Like, you
Yeah.
know how to handle the pressure, and hey, I understand and too, I feel like you've developed such a gritty work ethic too. And I've noticed employers really like former athletes just because
Yeah.
we don't talk back and we kind of do everything to the best of our abilities without having to be asked. And so that's also another thing, just like the natural discipline that we're kind of used to, definitely has prepared us for the workforce. And I can see you doing great things with that. Like, that's really cool. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Also, one thing I was going to ask earlier, but totally forgot, and I skipped over it. Did COVID affect your college softball experience in any way?
For
Or
me,
in high school?
So yeah, in high school, I was in like the 9th grade whenever COVID happened.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
You're a baby.
So yeah, COVID did not really affect me. The grade above me, because like sophomore year is your big year for camps and the recruitment process and just getting recognized by college coaches. Because obviously, like the first day of September, your junior year, you're getting offers from people. So for me, I was seeing it firsthand, but I wasn't experiencing it really. It didn't affect my class. I will say my freshman year of high school softball, our season got shortened to 7 games. So we only played 7 games and then we were done. And then the following year, we cut our season in half. And obviously we played with masks on, but other than that, I didn't really feel the effects of it. In college ball, however, I was teammates with girls that did have the extra years from COVID. So I would have like teammates that were in their 6th year. But other than that, I didn't really experience it. But
6 year, I can't imagine playing 6 years.
me either.
I did 5.
I was done in 3.
Oh, you're done in 3. I did 5, but I could have done 6. I had a COVID year, but I was like, no, it's time. I need to get a job.
Yeah.
It's like, get a job, write a cover letter, update your resume, get out of there. What was it like playing in a mask?
I don't remember too much. I do remember like I would get really out of breath because also in high school I was a middle infielder, so I played shortstop. And in college I transitioned to outfield, but as a shortstop you're kind of like the quarterback basically of the infield, so you have to yell a lot. And like no one could hear me in my mask, so I would like pull down my mask to try to yell really fast. And I can remember like the umpires always getting on to me for that. But yeah.
And how do you social distance in the dugout?
I don't think you can really. It's too small to social distance.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I thought so. Yeah, and in basketball that didn't last very long. We were all we were all getting it and then having to contact trace because like we're all together. We can't get into a huddle. No one can breathe.
Yeah.
It's hot.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine in softball, you're in pants.
Yeah.
It's hot outside.
I will say like much less conditioning. So I wasn't like super out of breath from the running aspect, which I'm sure you were. I'm sure that was awful.
It was, but it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
We're past it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So knowing what you know now, with your college experience, is there anything that you wanted to be more prepared for? Did I word that correctly? Like one thing you wish you could have been more prepared for?
I guess just the mental aspect of like, I put so much work into it in high school and just growing up, really like it consumed my life basically. And I think physically and my athletic abilities, like I was totally prepared for college softball. I think the biggest thing was like, you have to remind yourself that in high school, you may be like one of the standout players, but college coaches are literally picking out those standout players from every single team. So like you're coming in and you're playing with girls that are just as good. So like obviously you're going to spend your time on the bench, you're going to spend your time as a pinch runner. And like I don't think I was necessarily mentally prepared for it. I will say I don't think you could tell. Like I'm not a sulker. Like I'm gonna play my role, like whatever role you give me, I'm gonna do that the best that I can. That's just how I was. So you couldn't tell that it was mentally tolling, but I definitely think it was. That aspect was pretty tough, and I think traveling was definitely hard for me, and getting into that routine, that definitely took its toll. And I just think towards the end, like knowing what I have done in the past, like last year I did pretty good hitting wise. Defensively was never really the issue for me. Hitting wise though was something that I would struggle with sometimes. And I just think like coming off of last year and doing well, basically I would consider my sophomore year my first year of actually playing, because freshman year I was primarily a pinch runner. So then last year doing so well, and then this year not having as consistent of playing time, that was definitely really tough for me. So just knowing, like, I wish I would have gone into my college career knowing that it's literally not that serious. Like, and my whole life doesn't depend on this sport. Like, I wish I would have just mentally been in a better headspace of knowing that there's more to life than just softball. But
that's an excellent answer, because we're definitely going to go into mental health. Mental health is something I really believe in and prioritizing it. And I just feel like in college, we're taught so much as college athletes. We're supposed to like not have feelings and shove them down and like not have emotions kind of thing. But that just kind of makes us less human, I guess. And it's unrealistic. And so I feel like whenever we have all these negative emotions inside that we're kind of burying, they're going to explode in a very negative way. At least that's what happened to me. I would be very, very anxious all of the time, terrified of making mistakes, and definitely in my own head. So I completely understand. Is there a way that you like managed your mental health or were able to prioritize it? Like any strategies that you were doing to kind of get through times that you felt like you were in a rut?
So I had a really good friend on the team that we would talk about this a lot because we were kind of going through like a similar ordeal with our playing time and whatnot this past year. And we would talk about it a lot of how we were both very upbeat, outgoing people, like super energetic, super happy pretty much all the time. And like I said earlier, a big thing with our team was like having a neutral mindset, like staying within ourselves. So if you were aggravated about a situation, like be neutral. That was a huge thing for us. But for me personally, I have such an outgoing personality that if something didn't necessarily go my way and I would try to be neutral about it, it was obvious, like even though I wasn't having bad body language or anything, if I just wasn't talking as much, people would like recognize it immediately and be like, are you okay? Like you're not as happy, you're not as loud and giggly right now. And I think that was definitely tough for me, is that I didn't think I was showing it at all, and really other people would agree that I didn't have bad body language or anything, but you could just tell that I wasn't like as in the moment, and I think like as time went on, I kind of just had to tell myself like, this basically is your senior year. Like this is your last year of softball. Just take it all in, because just because you're not out on the field right now, it's still like you're still with your team. You're still traveling. Those long bus rides, like those are so fun. Just being able to take in those moments and be like where your feet are. I think that just really helped me be in a better mindset, like as time went on, and just knowing that these are your best friends. These are the best years of your life. You're going to look back on these with such fond memories. They're going to, take over all the bad moments. I think that was just a good reminder for me to stay in a positive headspace.
That's really great. Like being present. Yeah. That's That's really great advice for someone that's going through that.
Yeah.
I mean, I had similar issues too. I mean, of course, I had a lot of injuries in college,
Yeah.
and so having to sit and then having coaches that didn't like me very much towards the
Yeah.
end there, and having issues with that, it made it really difficult and to like continue to love it. At least that was
Yeah.
my experience,
Mhm.
and so having to build a support system, one with people that were not just my teammates, but two, trying to stay present and
Yeah.
trying to soak up the good that was there.
Mhm.
It was hard, but definitely something that we needed to do.
Yeah.
So, hey, I commend you for that. I mean,
Mhm.
that takes a lot of mental fortitude.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Next thing we're going to do is transition into the penalty box. Now, the penalty box is a portion of our show where we will read a story that was either submitted to us or that we researched and found online. Summer and I, not River, Summer and I will read the story, and then throughout the story, I will either pause, or Summer is more than welcome to interrupt me at any point, or if we just save it for the very end, we will analyze these stories, and hopefully we can analyze where things were handled improperly or could have been handled better, and applaud areas where a story was handled with grace and care, just so people in the future who are in similar situations can maybe look upon this and it be a teaching moment, maybe be a little educational. So now we're going to head into the penalty box. Okay, this one's from Reddit. It says volleyball, and the title is "Cried Because of a Volleyball Coach." All right. It goes, writing about this makes me embarrassed, but I want to share my experience. Ever since I started volleyball, there was this one coach who was only rude to me. The coach would constantly make rude comments, laugh at me whenever I made mistakes, and would compare me to other girls who played volleyball much longer than I did. I wouldn't say anything because all the other girls loved this coach, and she was always nice to me, always nice to them, but for me, she would leave me out and made me feel left out. Years later, when I was 17, there was a pre-tryout clinic for the club. She happened to be monitoring the court and watching us. I felt nervous the entire time. I felt like crying that day because she was there. Whenever I tried bringing it up to my mom, how scared I felt around her, she would tell me I was being a baby. Towards the end of the clinic, we decided to play a simple volleyball game, but there wasn't enough players, so she had to be on the team I was on. There was a miscommunication that led to her running into me and hurting her wrist. I felt really bad and said sorry, but she just ignored me. The next day, I saw the tryouts wearing a cast on her wrist. The next day, I saw the tryouts were wearing a cast on her wrist. Okay, that didn't make any sense, but we're going to keep on going. At that point, I felt extremely bad for what I had caused. I remember, the coach was wearing a cast on her. Okay, gotcha. Right. I remember she would give me dirty looks, and she told everyone that I was the one who injured her. One of my teammates came up to me and told me that the coach was saying, "You injured her and that you never apologized." I didn't know what to do because she is favored by everyone else, and that day I got a lot of dirty looks from the other players. After tryouts, I tried to talk to her again about the medical bill, but I started to hyperventilate and ran out to the parking lot to cry. I decided that maybe talking to her isn't the best idea because she probably hates me. Fast forward a couple months from tryouts, me and her team were scrimmaging. One of her players hit the ball out. I called the ball out, but the moment she saw me call the ball out, she started to yell at me in front of everyone on the court. She was yelling at me to pay my bills continuously. I have no right to say anything and that I shouldn't be on the court and playing. Several of her players were laughing, and so were my teammates. Oh my gosh, this lady's horrible. One girl on her team asked who you are talking about and pointed at me. I've never felt so embarrassed in my life. I truly felt like the whole world was closing in on me, and one of my teammates was confused and asked me if she was talking to me. I couldn't respond and just shook my head yes. My coach noticed that I was off and put me on the bench. At that point, I was trying my best to hold in my tears. I couldn't breathe properly and asked to go to the bathroom, and I just started to cry. Currently, whenever I see her at my club, I get extremely nervous and start sweating, and my breathing becomes short. I knew I was in the wrong about her injury and apologized many times, but I wanted to ask if the way she acted towards me was okay considering the fact I injured her. In my own opinion, injuries are common in sports, and I feel like if she didn't blow up the incident the way she did, it could have been solved. To this day, I feel very bad about what I did, but now there are girls at the club who dislike me because of the coach. That one was a long one, and there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah.
Okay, Summer, what is your first take on that?
I have not experienced anything like that in my career with coaches. I have definitely heard stories though of like past teammates, high school and travel ball teammates, of what they have experienced with coaches. And I know that coaches are definitely going to pick their favorites and not show as much attention to the people that they are not as focused on. I know that's bound to happen. But I definitely think this situation is extreme. Like, I feel like it's definitely out of the ordinary, and there has to be some underlying like jealousy or something that she is feeling towards that player. But also, like, my initial reaction to it is, I feel like the player is letting that coach like get the best of her and have too much power over her. And I think it's definitely, especially at that age, I think it said like 17. I think that's definitely a tough situation to be in. But at that point, you have to think to yourself, like, I'm a high school student, or like I'm 17 years old. Like, who is this woman, like, being so cruel to a 17-year-old? Like, that's just the way that I process that. But
Yeah, that was frustrating to read. I've experienced coaches being petty and vindictive. It's definitely something that it shouldn't be common, but it's common.
yeah,
And whenever you have a coach that volunteers for a drill, right, you are putting yourself in that position, right? So if you get hurt, that's on you.
yeah,
Like, if something malicious happened, so where you got like an elbow to the face on purpose and everyone saw, yeah, you have every right to be upset. But you take it upon yourself that, like, if I get hurt, that's on me, right? And so blaming a kid because you got hurt, that's on you. And two, antagonizing her and saying that you should pay my medical bills, all this stuff. Like, how old are you?
yeah,
And I'm frustrated too at this girl's parent because she expressed what happened and parent didn't believe her or said she was a baby, right? And it's not fair for a child that's 17 to have to stand up to a coach like that, just like a person in a position of power that just holds a whole lot of weight. That's not fair to her. I mean, that's exploiting your position. It's not okay. You know that you have more over her than she does. And so I think it adds another layer of cruelty because she can't really fight back. And so I'm frustrated not only at that coach, right? But I'm also kind of angry at the parent, in that your job as a parent is to protect your child. And your child is not 18 years old yet. You can't sit back and go, okay, it's your life, do what you want. I'm expecting my champion to protect me. And in that situation, if I open up to a trusted adult about something, I'm expecting that trusted adult to go up to that person and go, okay, so do you have a problem with my daughter? The way you're speaking to my daughter is affecting her very, very negatively. And it doesn't seem like coaching. It seems like it's out of malice. And there's one thing a coach hates is pressure and confrontation. They absolutely hate that. So when a parent comes and confronts a coach, they absolutely, coming from somebody that has coached high school basketball and of course played in college and stuff, coaches don't like outside pressure, whether that's through social media or a one-on-one meeting with a player that's not scared of them anymore, or a parent, right, or admin. They don't like someone coming in and questioning or sticking up for themselves or advocating for themselves. So if I were in that position, I would have told my parent and expected my parent to fight for me. So I'm frustrated that that parent didn't fight for her the way she deserved to be fought for.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
And two, from the perspective of the teammates, right, that were kind of falling in with that coach. I mean, it's poor that they did that, but two, like, that's their leader, and you can't really expect children to like, in hindsight, you can think, okay, well, there's right and wrong, right? But when you have a leader that's teaching you wrong, you kind of get a license, or you think that it's okay, it's excusable. So yeah, the kids are at fault there for chiming in too, but not near as much as the coaches for teaching that obviously learned behavior.
Yeah, for sure.
So it sucks that this kid was failed so many times, and I really hope that she did not pay any of medical bills. That's also not her problem.
Yeah.
That's incredibly inappropriate. But a lot of red flags there. But I'm proud of this person for at least opening up about the story and talking about it, because this kind of stuff happens, and coaches like that need to be held accountable, because they probably should not be around young people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Any more remaining thoughts on the penalty box, Summer?
I mean, I agree with you of the other kids. Like, again, they are 17. So in my opinion, they're also kind of being taken advantage of in this situation, same as the victim really in this situation. I think at the end of the day, they're also 17-year-old girls, and this is their like trusted adult. So no telling what that coach is telling her players about that girl. To me, it just sounds like the other coach like is living vicariously through her players and is trying to put herself on a pedestal. And like, personally, I have never experienced that, but I know River had a really bad situation in high school and things that she experienced. And I think it's super easy for a coach to stir the pot and to just like really affect somebody's experience in high school. Like, you hear so many stories about how high school coaches like severely affect somebody's experience. And I just think that that's not fair, whether it is like you have a friendship with your coach, but you're tearing down other athletes. Like, I think that's also really unfair to those other players too. But.
Right, of course. And I don't like throwing around the word abusive lightly in any ways, but like, that's emotional abuse.
Yeah,
and
it is.
That's not okay. And we can sit back and go, okay, tough coaching, whatever. No, that's emotional abuse. You can't coach without tearing somebody down and making them hate their sport, and then antagonizing them and making them lose their love for it. Like, that's you can coach well without being cruel. There's no reason for that.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. So many things wrong. Lady needs therapy, seek help. Goodness. So many things wrong. But all right, that's it for the penalty box. We're gonna head back to the show. Summer, another thing that I wanted to mention to you is that we are partnered with No Solo, and No Solo is a mental health advocacy brand. 20% of the proceeds that No Solo gains, they give to the No Solo Give Back Foundation, which funds mental health initiatives around the globe. And I got my No Solo gear on, and I would like to send you home with some No Solo stuff. And so if you send me your address and stuff, I'll get some gear mailed out to you. Because we love No Solo, and we love being their partner, and we want you to share in that. So thank you for being on the show, and I hope you like the gear that we send you.
Well, very cool. Thank you so much. I'm excited to receive it.
Of course. One last question for you. So if you could give advice to 18-year-old Summer, what would it be? Knowing what you know now. And I know I kind of asked this previously a little bit, but like, any remaining thoughts of like what you would tell her?
Just keep having fun. Like, I wish that would have been my priority going into college, just to have fun, to not put so much pressure on yourself, to not have to be a standout player in college. Just have fun. Like, it's literally, I look back on so many memories, and I loved my experience, but I wish that the bad moments, I could have just been like, oh my gosh, like, whatever. I'm here. I'm playing Division I softball. Like, this is so exciting. This is so cool. And I would tell other girls going into college or going into the recruitment process to just remember to have fun through everything.
Love that. I think that's definitely going to help some other kid that's 18 going into it. So thank you for that. All right, guys, we're going to head off now, but thank you so much for joining us. And remember, no matter where you are in your journey, you are more than enough always. I'll see y'all later.